want to have we'll want to have a piece of paper and a pen or your phone or just something because we are going to work through a couple exercises just for you to get a taste of what I'm talking about and see how it applies to your business. So I'm just putting that out there right now. I probably should have had it in the sign up. But if you can just grab something quickly while we're getting the introduction going. So welcome to the workshop. This is business marketing for 2026. Why old marketing is failing and what to do
Mom
instead.
was care.
So marketing in 2026. When I say old marketing, I mean kind of digital marketing, or what we've done traditionally where we are just visible because we're in the town, or maybe we've done things that have gotten people in regularly, but now suddenly things aren't working. And this is something that I've heard across the board from all different size businesses and different spots is that marketing just isn't working the same way it was. And as someone who's in marketing every day, I can tell you that's completely right. It's not just you, it isn't working the way it was a year ago, or 5 years ago, or even 15 years ago. So, right now, ads are getting more and more expensive. If you haven't noticed, if you run any kind of ads, social media ads, newspaper, radio, whatever kind of advertising you are paying for is getting more expensive, but the results are diminishing at the same time. And people are wondering, like, what's going on? Are Facebook ads dead? Should I not be in the newspaper? What am I supposed to do? Social media ads are yielding less and demanding more, but I would say even traditional advertising isn't necessarily giving you the same results. So what do we do with that? It's a sluggish economy. People stop trusting hype and they rely on proof and relationships. So trust, as I will bring up many, many, many times in this presentation, is the key to marketing in 2026. We are in a trust crisis. People have been bombarded by advertising. They are in a very heightened sense of struggling with what's going on in the economy, what's going on in the world. The news constantly has you on the edge of you think the world's going to end any second. And so everyone is just overloaded and not really receptive to what is going on because it's just another thing to think about. At the same time, there have been so many promises broken by companies, by the government, by everyone around them. They bought products that were supposed to be great and they weren't. They've heard hype about a service and then it didn't deliver. And that is true in every niche and every market right now because with digital marketing and being on the internet and being more interconnected, people have had more of a chance to scam more people. And so we are dealing with the fallout of that and all the craziness of the past few years around the world. So people are taking much longer to make decisions and they aren't spending like they used to. First of all, they don't necessarily have as much working capital as they used to, but also they just have this hesitation and are thinking very intently about every purchase that they make. Right now, for the first time since they started recording these statistics, which is around 100 years, I don't remember the exact number, but for the first time ever, impulse buying is in a single digit percentage and dropping, which means that impulse buying is nearly non-existent because if you continue to read the studies on that, they say that impulse buying is taking longer than before, which means it's not even impulse buying. It's just that they're being more impulsive than maybe other parts of the populace, but they're still thinking about it longer. So we can't really rely on that anymore. What if you could stop trying to shout louder, like more ads, more social, more putting stuff out there, and start whispering to people who already want to hear from you? People have sales fatigue because of the amount of advertising and sales messaging that they get on a daily basis. They need someone they can trust and someone they can believe in. And that's what we're going to work through in this workshop. So you can see how you can build trust with your audience and overcome not just the noise, but that sales fatigue and that trust crisis to build a strong customer base in 2026 for your business, no matter what is going on in the world beyond and in the economy. So I'm Jennifer. I'm a marketing strategist and I am trained in copywriting and sales psychology. I have been in marketing for 15 years now in many different niches, many different roles, but my specialty is really developing a client experience that builds trust, that builds profit and revenue, and helps keep your business viable despite the trends, despite what's going on social media, or what changes in the culture, that you build a steady customer base that's your fans and want to stick with you no matter what. So my mission is to serve small businesses so that they can serve bigger. Small businesses are the backbone of our country. They are what strengthen communities. They are what build family legacies, and they're what create freedom within families and communities by bringing in more revenue to support that area and keeping it viable. I help by building systems and growth plans, not trendy vanity metrics. There are plenty of people in marketing that will sell you anything that maybe is trendy or what everyone else is doing, but that's not what I do. I do what works for your business, and I do what will work no matter what happens with those algorithms and trends. So, the first thing is the trust triad. And this is truly the cornerstone of your marketing for 2026. Like, this is where it's at. I know people might debate on platforms or types of media, or should you be in the newspaper? Should you be on the radio? What should you do? Sponsorships? Should you have a sale? Like, what you should be doing. But really, no matter what you choose to do, those are all vehicles. Those aren't really the marketing strategy. Those are vehicles. The marketing strategy are these three things. So a customer in 2026 will only buy from you if these three things are true. The first is they can find you. This is paramount. And I know that in South Dakota, in some of these really small towns, everybody knows everybody, right? And everybody knows what's going on. And that is a blessing. But it also means that many times the businesses have relied on the people in town or the people in the surrounding area just knowing that the business is there and coming to shop there. That's no longer the case. Just because you've been there or perhaps your family has had this business for a long time doesn't mean that that will guarantee you customers. People are on their phone much more than they used to be. They are using voice search, which I predicted about 8 years ago that that would change search, and it has. So having Siri or Alexa, they are going to their phone first before they're leaving the house. And if they can't find you, they're ordering from Amazon. And so being able to find you, having visibility is crucial, no matter how small your town is, no matter how long your business has been open. It is changing the market. And the younger generations, that's what they're used to. And so this isn't something that's going away. It's something that businesses need to get in place to stay viable. Because when people can't find what they need, they don't have the time or the bandwidth or the patience, honestly, at this point, to go searching town to town. They're just getting on Amazon and ordering it. And we don't want Amazon to be taking that money from the local businesses. If there's a local business supplying that, then we want them to get that there. So this is very important. The second thing is they need to believe you. So having a good reputation, and not just that people know who you are, because let's be honest, in South Dakota, everybody knows everybody, but that you have proof that they can trust you. Because trust again is the problem. And so having reviews, having that visibility, having other people say that you know what you're doing is important. And so that helps for people to believe you, but also having a client experience that builds trust to know that you actually care about them and you will deliver on what you promise is important as well. And that plays into your reputation. And they have to be reminded of you. Now, if you think of yourself, think of all the things that you have going on in your brain, in your life. If you're like me, I have about 50 post-it notes on my desk at any given time. I have 12 tabs open in my computer. I have 2 planners that I'm working off of. There's noise when we get on our computer just to do something. There's distractions when we're out in our life. There's so much going on that it's so easy to forget about things. And so somebody might see a billboard and say, oh, I really want to try that business. Or they see an ad or they come across a website or a Facebook page and they think, oh, that's a really great restaurant or that looks like a wonderful product. I would like to find out more about it. And what happens? Life happens. And it might be 3 to 6 months later that they think of it again. And are they going to remember that it's you? But also, there are people who have been to businesses and I'm like, this is great. I like this place. But then life happens again and they don't get back there. We need to be reminding people what we offer, where we are, how to get in touch with us, to keep inviting them back. We need to cut through that noise to let them know that, hey, we're still here, because they actually will appreciate that. People appreciate reminders. It's not that they're not coming back because they don't care. It's probably that they're too distracted with everything else that's going on. And being in a cycle of reminding and constant communication, that helps to build trust and it helps to foster that relationship and show that you care about your customers. So if any one of these is broken, then the business bleeds money because it's just losing people. It's like a sieve. You know, if you have a bucket that you're carrying water in and suddenly there's a hole, even if it's a small hole, it's going to make the water come out. And so it's going to make your job that much harder. So then we're going to look at the digital trust audit. Okay, so what I'd like you to do, this is a participatory activity. If you could take out your phone, or if you're on your laptop or your computer and you want to just open a new tab and search, either one is fine. But I want you to take this out and show you how this happens in real time. I want you to search for what your core service or product is plus your city. If you are in a truly tiny town that you are the only person doing that, then pick the next largest one, okay? And look at who pops up. Are they your competitors? Is it somebody close by? Is it somebody far away? Is it somebody, sometimes they pop up and they're like 3 states away because that's who's coming up for that product. But see who comes up and just look at them. How many reviews do they have? If you did this on Google, you probably got a list of Google business pages and showed the reviews that they had, or you may have had Yelp come up first. I always laugh when I search and then it'll say something like the 25 best health spas in Woonsocket, South Dakota. There's a massage therapist and there's a beautician and a barber, but there are not 25 health spas here. But they just want to seem like they have a lot of reviews and none of them are ever in the area. But look for people that are actually in your area and see who's ranking, even if it is some people who are far away. See what's happening. When was the latest review that they got? When was the latest post that they made on there? And are you showing up in that listing? Now, if you aren't, it's okay, but this is just an exercise of when someone is looking for your product or service, this is exactly what they're doing. And if you're wondering why people aren't finding you, this is the first step of why they're not. If you want to put any comments about this or questions in the chat, please feel free. I'm going to give you just a minute to work through that and to just get to see what comes up, and then we'll go on to the next slide. All right, I'm going to move on. And if you have questions or you want to go through this together later, we can. So, what does this mean? Reviews build trust, and we can thank Amazon for this in a lot of ways. But it's also a great thing to help combat this trust crisis that we have. We've gotten used to that when you look something up online, whether it's a book or it's a hotel or a restaurant or a product or anything, we look for reviews. And when new products or services or companies don't have reviews, we generally feel skeptical because we've gotten used to people having reviews either through Google or on a platform like eBay or Amazon, or even having them right on their website. So it's instant validation of your services because people feel that they can trust reviews because they see reviews as everyday people. They see it as truth because they think these people aren't getting paid, so they're telling me their honest truth, the honest assessment of it. Whereas influencer marketing or advertisements on television or radio by actors or sponsors, it isn't that it doesn't help, but people don't have the same trust level that they used to. It used to be that if a celebrity endorsed something, or even someone that was just well known in the niche or the area endorsed it, then people would say, oh, because he likes it, I'm going to trust it. And that isn't always the case because, again, we're in a trust crisis and people are more skeptical and they've gotten burnt by a lot of these celebrities and influencers. Second, you must show up in a local search. Sometimes we think local business, we don't need to be online because the people that I serve are right here. They come into my store, they come into my office, I meet with them face to face. But local search is growing exponentially. It's something that is critical because with the voice search, with AI search that's now going, and I'm telling you that is going to change everything of how we do stuff online. You can like AI, you cannot like AI, it's not going anywhere. But this is where we need to lay the framework of how people are going to find us. So people are on their phones and they're out and they want a pizza, or they need an auto body shop, or they're looking for a particular service or product. They go to their phone first. And if you are not showing up in local search, and we're going to talk about a couple different local searches, then you aren't being found. Um, it doesn't matter how long you've been there. It doesn't matter how great your product is. Word of mouth will help, but this is where we are. And again, people are busy. They want to know I can go here, I can get what I need, and I can get out. Also, activity builds visibility. So it's not enough to open up a Facebook page or to start a Google business profile or even to have a website that you built in 1992 and at least it's still there. You need to keep it active, um, especially on like social media, because that's what shows people that you are still there, that things are still happening. When they open up a page and the last post was June 1st, 2021, they wonder, is this business still around? Can I still go there and rely on them being there? And then they found you, and again, they're off to ordering something online or going someplace else. So when you don't have consistent activity, that is the one place that social media is important, is showing that you are active and having personal branding. It's not for getting millions of views. There's actually studies now that have come out at the end of 2025 that said all these short form content that we've been putting so much time and effort into, spending 2 hours on a 30-second reel, it's producing almost $0 for the businesses that are doing it. The percentage of revenue that they're generating is negligible and it's just non-existent. So it isn't a bad thing for getting attention, but it definitely isn't converting people into your business. So this is another activity, and this is the last one that you need to do. But I want you to think about when we talked about reminding people and showing up and being in a conversation with them to build trust. This is called the acres of diamond calculation. So many times people come into our business. Maybe we have a sale, we have a promotion, we're part of an event like the burger battle that's going on in a couple of towns right now, or they were referred to us and we're at a vendor fair. They come in, they talk, they get whatever we're offering, and then they're gone. Only about 25 to 30% of the people that come into a business for the first time, and this is particularly for service businesses and retail, will ever return. But the people that you have that are in your database that are there, or the people that have come in and made a purchase or used your service, they are an untapped resource that most of us forget about. And so we're always trying to get in more people and more people and more people, even though most of them don't return. And we forget about the people that are already there. That is your best source of revenue for your business. So I'd like you to write down or think about how many past clients do you have, or leads. Maybe they said, oh, I'd like a trial, or I would like to come and see how things are, but they didn't invest. But like, how many do you think you have in a database, in a Rolodex, on a dusty Excel sheet, that aren't being touched? Come up with a number. It doesn't have to be exact. Is it 100? Is it 1,000? Just write that number down or think about it. Now I want you to imagine if you sat down and sent a text to each one of these people. Again, could be 50, could be 100, could be 1,000, could be 5,000, whatever it is. If you sat down and wrote a text, you spent a whole day or 2 days sending these texts, and only 3% of them responded, how many leads is that bringing back into your business? So if you had 50 people on your list, that's going to be about 2 more leads. If you have 1,000, that is, I'm trying to do math really fast in my head. That is 30 new leads that are coming back in. And you might say, Jennifer, those aren't leads. They're already there, but they are leads, because the best leads you have are the people who are already had experience with you and already invested, because you've already started that trust relationship. Now imagine if you did this on a repeat basis, if you did this on a regular schedule, maybe every quarter, maybe every month, maybe twice a month. How much more traffic and revenue and just people getting interested in your business and talking about it more would that generate? This helps to create that conversation, to provide those reminders and keep people moving forward. And when you track the metrics as guides, then that helps you have sustainable growth. This is something you can easily track. Facebook ads, social media, a lot of those other things are much harder to track. But this is something you can say, I sent 1,000 messages, I got this many people to reply, and it resulted in this much business. And as you go, you can refine your process and have that happen continually over and over again. So as new people come in, they are reminded, and people keep coming back. And this is one of the most powerful tools that most businesses are not implementing in 2026, but need to be. So this brings us to the whole trust system. We've talked about different ways that you can show up online, you can communicate with your customer base, you can bring in more leads, and you can nurture the ones you already have. It comes back to that trust triad. There are different ways for you to show up online, from a website to a Facebook to a Google page, a Google business profile. Google and Facebook pages will always outrank your website. That doesn't mean having a website is bad, but it does mean that if your website and you don't have one of those other ones, you're not going to show up in local search. So that is the first point. Automated review request builds visibility. So when you have a Facebook page or a Google business profile, or both, you can build visibility by getting reviews there. And there are systems you can set up to get people to leave reviews, which helps to boost their trust of new people coming in and boost your visibility. Also, you can put photos or posts up, and it doesn't have to be 10 posts a day. It doesn't even have to be a post every day, but just having something up there, let's say 2 times a week, shows prospective clients or past clients that are like, hey, you know what? I totally forgot about Bob's shop down there. Let me see what's going on. That you are still open and gives them a little bit of a preview into what you have going on. So it builds visibility and it builds trust. The second thing is database reactivation campaigns. That's basically what we talked about in that acre of diamond calculation exercise. You already have acres of diamonds and you're chasing the coal that still hasn't been turned into diamonds. When you reactivate your database, you generate more leads, you generate more business, and it's the most cost effective and efficient way to get more revenue into your business, because cold leads cost more, they take more time, they take more energy, and then you're going to have to start from square one nurturing that trust. Start with the people you have, build up your business there, and let the visibility help you to find more people. The third thing is direct marketing systems. So after you've reactivated them or you've created a database that is now current, maybe you don't even have a database, you're not collecting information from people who are coming in. You start collecting them, you have a database, that is your base. Now you're going to continue to direct market to these people, and that builds loyalty. It's been shown that if someone goes to a business 4 to 5 times, they become a loyal customer. That's what we want, is loyal customers, because first of all, loyal customers spend at least 20% more than people who are there for the first time. And over time, they will continue to spend more and more and more. Also, loyal customers are our best marketing, because word of mouth will always be the best marketing. Word of mouth and reviews. Okay, so loyal customers will leave your reviews. Loyal customers will tell their friends about it. They will share their Facebook posts. They will send a link to your Google page or tell somebody where to find you when they say, hey, I have this problem, I need something. Building loyalty is crucial in a society where we are also distracted, but it's also a great business move because it helps to ensure consistent revenue and ongoing growth in your business. So that's the trust system, those three things. So now that we've gone through all of this, and I know it might be a bit of to absorb all of it, and some of you might be thinking, this is not at all what everybody else is telling me to do. But I can tell you that this is what actually works, and this is what the people and the businesses and the influencers that are telling you to do this one little thing, this is what they're actually doing in their business. This is how they're getting the consistent leads, and this is how businesses are going to make it through 2026, no matter how rough of a ride it is. So now that you know all that information, you have 3 options. The first one is you can keep doing the same thing you've been doing. You can chase the trends, or you can just, dust off your sidewalk and hope somebody's going to walk by and walk in. You can post and hope. You can cut into your bottom line to just get a lot of traffic, and then you actually make less money even though you had more people come in just because you're desperate to get more traffic. Or you can do it yourself. You can take what I taught you with the trust triad and the trust system. And you can try to implement this yourself. And that's that's the first thing that I would encourage you to do, is find a way to implement this. But the third option is that you can get a system that does it for you. So you can set up systems so that things like this happen automatically, are easy to manage, and aren't cutting into your time, because you don't want to be spending all your time marketing. That's a trap of modern business, because we have so many vehicles the platforms and the different types of media and all the different types of content we can create for people. And we get trapped in doing lots of marketing instead of running our business, instead of, doing the things that make us money and interacting with our customers who are the ones who pay us. So you can get a system that helps you grow, that's sustainable, and that makes it easy for you to have that visibility, have that direct marketing, and build that trust. So automations actually are a friend to businesses. They're something that people don't see, and they don't look flashy, and they're not as exciting as a really highly choreographed and highly edited reel. But those are what make businesses grow and make them viable no matter what's going on. So I thank you for being here today and for sitting through this. I also thank you for investing the time into your business and realizing that marketing is changing, and this is how, and that something needs to change to keep your business going, because you taking that first step and saying, I need to understand what's going on in marketing to make my business stronger is very important. And so I applaud you for taking the time. I know we're all very busy people, and I appreciate you being here. So now, if you would like to schedule a Trust Triad audit where we can sit down and see what pieces of this do you have in place, what do you need, and where are you in the grand spectrum of all the things that you could be doing, I invite you to scan the QR code here or text me at 605-303-6749, and we can set up an appointment to have a 30-minute Trust Triad audit and look at the health of your business marketing and systems and how you can help do better in 2026 and implement all of these. So I'm going to just leave that up there for 1 minute, and then I'll go back. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat, because once I close this, I'm going to go back and answer questions.
Great information, Jennifer.
Thank you. I'm going to hit
Um,
stop share now.
What would you suggest for a new business that doesn't really get a whole lot of reviews?
I would suggest to set up a system to get reviews. Just like anything, people are distracted, and no matter how much they love you, they're probably going to forget to leave a review unless something was like absolutely terrible and they want the world to know. So to get good reviews, you need to remind your local customers, like your loyal customers, and have a system that either you're reaching out to them to get a review, like let's say you have their email or their phone number and you're sending them something, or you have a QR code in your business that they scan and leave a review. But you really need a system for it to accumulate them. And the ones that you see that have 40, 50, 60 reviews, like that's what they're doing. Yeah. Okay. How do I find my niche words when I have created a unique product? I would say that one of the biggest things with understanding the words that you need is that a lot of times we make keywords complicated. And there's a couple tools. I'll put one in the chat in a bit. But I would say you have a unique product, but it probably doesn't solve a unique problem. And I would look at the keywords for that problem, because people aren't searching for your product. They're searching for a result, no, a solution to their problem. Okay, so like, what are they asking? What's keeping up in the middle of the night? What are they asking Google at 2 a.m.? What are those like unspoken fears that they have about this problem? And honestly, whatever we are selling, whatever kind of service or product or whatever, it's all a solution to a problem. And people are calling us when they're tired, they're frustrated, or they're overwhelmed, even if it's a pizzeria. I mean, you might go out because you want to go out and have fun. But a lot of times, why do we order a pizza? It's because we're tired, we're overwhelmed, and we're frustrated, and we just need an easy supper to feed our family. So, knowing what is getting your people frustrated or overwhelmed, or what their problem is, or what they're thinking, or wrestling with, those would be the keywords I would put in there, because that's what they're searching for. And so I'd love to hear what your unique product is if you want to text me and tell me more about it. I do meditation is confidential, so my customers may not want to leave a review. Is there a way to do it confidentially, or would I get reviews from lawyers? Some lawyers are present.
Mediation.
Oh, mediation.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
I'm
I
sorry.
read it as meditation first too. So,
Okay,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
mediation.
I
No, all
have
good.
a I have a visitor and I'm trying to shoo them out. It's my little assistant and her dog. Anyway, yes, confidentiality can be an issue. There are other niches that have confidentiality. There are a couple ways you can do that. There may be, on Google, they might not leave their real name. Like they could just have a Google account that isn't under their name. If you think of it, a lot of us have Google accounts that might not be under our name. I think that's harder to do now, but when Google started, we had all kinds of crazy names on there. But also, if you wanted to collect reviews and then curate them on your Facebook page or on your website or wherever you're sharing things, you can do it anonymously. You could just say a customer from Aberdeen, or you know, you could even just put their initial. You don't need to have their name. And if you, when confidential cases, and I have clients that I'm not in a confidential, for the most part, niche. I mean, I do have clients I sign NDAs for the larger clients, but for the most part, I'm not doing anything that's crucial or sensitive if I shared something. However, for their privacy, because they are marketing their business and they want everybody to think that their business is going really well and they don't want people knowing like, hey, I was struggling with this, right? I generally don't use their names. Sometimes I will change their names. But in a case study, I'll just say a business owner who was in this niche, and then I'll tell them where they were, what happened, and you can get into specifics of that, but you don't have to put identifying features in it. So you don't have to say, I was working with a florist from Brookings and, that sells, I don't know. I don't know if the florist in Brookings sells, but like if they sold a specific thing, like you don't need to have anything in there that would be identifiable, but you can do case studies if they don't want to have their identity revealed, and then just make it vague. It could just be a mom or a wife or a business or whatever, and don't have anything identifiable, but you can work through what you did with them. And that's a very valuable thing to share. You can make that into a lead magnet, which is something that people download and they can read through it because they're like, I have this problem and this is how she solved it, and I want to read how she did it. Or you can make them into graphics or whatever, but you don't have to have their name. It does make it a little bit harder to have a Google profile with um, with reviews, but there are some ways around that. And I would encourage you to still have a Google business profile. Even I would talk to a lawyer, first of all, of like what you should do, but you could still encourage people to leave you testimonials to capture that in some way. And obviously ask them if you can share their story without their names. Um, but yeah, I did have a client who was a lawyer. I would ask him, but anyway, I could still ask him what to do with that, and get back to you. Oh, okay. I'm going to save the chat. If you look on, oh, what is that? Answerthepublic.com. If you go to this answerthepublic.com, if you're looking for keywords or questions that people are asking, you put in what your niche is or your product or something that people would identify with. It's only 2 or 3 words. So you need to be super succinct. And then it tells you everything that people are searching for. And a lot of times it's spelled very wrong or it's not very grammatically correct, but that's what your people are actually typing in. So that's where you can get key phrases and words to put into things to help you connect with them. I'm going to just copy this because I want to find out what it is. Anybody else?